This is the time where I'd like to shift the microphone over to my colleague and good friend Tom, as he's going to run us through that live demo of setting up that connector, or taking a look at the connector inside FormAssembly as it gets ready to send data over to Microsoft Power Automate.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Justin, and apologies everyone, I entered late. But I'm here, and so I'm sure Justin has given you all the information you needed from a high level. So now I'm going to walk you through setting it up on the workflow itself. So bear with me as I get the screen ready. Okay, so here we are. So I do have a workflow built out. I actually had two. Today we're going to use the backup one just to get things shown for the demonstration. So as Justin's mentioned, the webhook is sort of a catch-all, allows you to connect to many different systems that have endpoints you can send information to using different sort of formats, whether it's JSON payload, form data, raw form data, or and it also has to have different authentication methods. So we're not looking for just a normal open-ended endpoint. It can support OAuth authentication using the response authorization code flow. We can also support API keys, and we can support password basic authentication. So in this workflow, we've got a simple layout. We've got a form that's then going to go to the thank you page, and then we have the webhook connector. So we're going to have this run after the forms are submitted. You'll add the webhook step, and here you've got a few tabs. The description is what it says on the tin. This is where you'll write what it does. So if you're sending to a specific system, well, then you could say sending to SharePoint list, whatever you want to put in there. Then over here on the authorization tab, this is where you'll set up your authorization. Once you've set it up once, it can be reused over and over again for that user's account. Here I've got it set to none currently, but if I go to new authorization, you'll see that we can give it a name, and the authorization types that are supported are the OAuth basic and API key. When you set up the OAuth, it'll ask you things that you expected, so client ID, secret, etc., etc. You'll set that up on whatever system you're looking to send the information to then complete that flow. And what you'll do is you'll click connect, it'll pop up the window, you'll sign in, and then it will store that. If we just cancel out that. Next, we have the configuration tab, which I'll come back to in a moment. I just want to quickly cover before I forget the error handling tab. So if your endpoint was to send back an error, what do you want to do? We can actually jump to a different step in the workflow. So we could actually purposely build out a always true type path. And if there's an error, let's go down the other way. And you could have different pages or actions happening based on that error. Coming back to the configuration tab, you'll see here we have actions. You can add as many actions as you want. They can be renamed. And here is where we'll set up what we're sending to. So in today's demonstration, we're going to actually send to a Power Automate. We'll have an endpoint there that's expecting the JSON data. And then what it does on the Power Automate side, once it receives it, it then puts it into a list. So now I'm integrating these two systems together. I'm able to have a nice front end with FormAssembly's workflow and push that over to Power Automate, as well as any of the other connectors that we have native integrations for as well. So it's not just one system only, you can do many within a workflow. So here are the options we've got: post, patch, put, get. Currently it's only supported for those pushing information. So you got your patches, you put, and your post. And then you'll put in the endpoint that you're sending to. So here I've got my Power Automate endpoint, which I do have open here somewhere. So here you can see I've got a Power Automate flow. Won't get into this too much, but I'd expect whoever has this product to know what they're doing. Here I've set up the endpoint to receive what I'm looking to come from FormAssembly. I've got a condition that's just checking that the API key matches what I'm sending. If it's true, it'll let it in. If not, it will do an error. And what it does is then creates an item and sends back a success response. So on the Power Automate side, that's all we needed to do. Here in my list on SharePoint, you can see currently is empty. So in here, what we're going to do on the webhook, we're going to push over JSON, and there's the custom headers section where we can add the header. So here I've added a custom header of API key and then put in this, as that's what my Power Automate is looking for. And then if we scroll down, we then have the body. Here, it's not a question of I need to send everything. You can choose what you want to send to your endpoint. So that's the beauty of the webhook, is not only do you have the flexibility of sending it to an authenticated endpoint using OAuth, etc., but you also have a choice of what you want to send. Here, I'm going to send project name, last name, email. These strings here, these words here that you can see that are in a bubble, these are actually form fields. So I'm actually able to say, well, I'm going to send over these key value pair of project name. I can select any field from my form, and then that will insert that. So now the data is dynamic. I'm going to send over what I want to send. But maybe all of these are for a certain project. Maybe I want to append on the end of it 2026 because it's always going to be that. You get to choose what you want to put in there. You can use form fields or repeated fields, so you can put those both in there. And if I want to just send any other information, I can do if I just want to manually sort of statically set that data. And that's it. There's many different systems you can connect to. So there's a few different systems that we've proven for, things like MuleSoft that we've sent to. We've had people using Epic system to send certain things to. So it all comes down to the system you're sending to, but this does give a lot more flexibility than what we previously had. I'll show you how this quickly looks. Again, this is the backup one, so it doesn't look as great as one I pre-prepared. But either way, you'll see what happens. So here we're looking to add the project. So let's do FormFest 2026. These other fields are not actually named the same, so these can just be test, as I'm not actually sending those. I submit my form. Now, whatever is dictated by the workflow, it was a thank you page. That's what I got. And in the background, we're going to go ahead and do the webhook connector, which is sent into my Power Automate. If we come in here, we can see we've got the green check mark, so it's gone through successfully. We come to the response, we can actually check the logs, and we'll be able to see that we've got the 200 success on the webhook part. And you can see there is that. If we come over to here and give a refresh, we should see now we've got that entry in our SharePoint list. So this opens the door for many different use cases. Obviously, I would have sent over more data points. So I could have sent over project owner, department, etc. That was on the previous demo that was meant to be shown. But just to show you that you can push the information over and you can see it here, it is working. The Power Automate did receive the data. And really, it's just the flexibility of how we can use that webhook to send to any systems.
Taking a full look through some of these integrations, this is going to be things that, or these are going to be some things that we've seen customers already set up. And so if there's any that you're not seeing on this list, let us know. If there's something you're seeing on this list and you want more info on how customers are using it, let us know. Or if you have things that you're saying, wait a second, I'm connecting 3 different platforms with the webhook connector that aren't on here, please let us know in that case.